Hi, my name is Dr. Ward. I want to welcome you to another video lecture in the redox.com video lecture series. I want to welcome you. So today we're going to talk about iodine and its relationship to thyroid problems and the connections this has to our redox chemistry in our body. Our thyroid gland demands iodine in order to produce thyroxine. So there's a little gland in our throat, and we require this hormone, thyroxine, for every cell in our body to metabolize energy. Without it, our cells start to get sluggish, and we will not survive without thyroxine. So iodine is one of the raw materials that's mandatory in the production of thyroxine. So thyroxine we refer to as T4 or T3. The purpose is to give a guidance for metabolism to our cells. For example, maintaining our body temperature is determined by the metabolic rate of our cells. Without thyroxine, our body temperature drops and we become sluggish, we become swollen, and our skin gets dry, our hair is like straw, and we have no energy. So thyroid deficiency has become a very big problem in America. And in fact, Synthroid, which is a synthetic thyroxine, a prescription, is the #1 monthly prescription in America. There's over 25 million prescriptions every month for this medicine, which is only used to treat hypothyroidism, low thyroid. This is crazy numbers. That's nearly as many diabetics as we have in the United States, and yet this gets hardly any press. So what's going on with this? Well, there are specific autoimmune diseases where the immune system attacks the thyroid gland and it stops working. There's Graves' disease, there's Hashimoto's thyroiditis, but these are not especially blowing up in numbers. What really is going on, and what I've seen in my practice for the last 30 plus years, is that we've just simply got people who have worn out thyroid glands that are just not producing enough thyroxine. So why is it getting worn out? What's the problem? And it's becoming more and more clear what's actually behind this. So, it rolls around to a problem with our iodine levels. And let me explain a little bit about iodine. This iodine mineral is fairly prevalent. It's one of the stable halogens, it's called. And interestingly, it's a violet color, which is why I chose violet markers tonight. But it's becoming more and more deficient today, even though it's fortified in our salt. It's found in our soil generally, but not so much in the Midwest maybe, and maybe in mountainous areas. Our vegetables that grow in dirt do acquire some of the iodine from the dirt. But the problem is that, well, we may not be eating as many vegetables, which is frankly true in many cases, but even though there's a fair amount of iodine, we're not assimilating it. And some very wise people have been studying this for the past 10 years or more, and it's becoming clear that the reason we're not able to absorb it is because of the toxicities in our world. Chlorine, bromine, and fluorine share the same column in the periodic table of elements, and they have the property of displacing iodine from being able to be absorbed in our body. So chlorine's in our water, bromine's in our carpet, in our computers, and other substances in our industrialized world. And fluorine, which is good for our teeth enamel, is not necessarily good for absorption of iodine. And so there's not a really great test for measuring iodine in our bodies. There's an iodine absorption test, but it's not especially reliable and accurate, but it's giving us a clear picture that almost every American is deficient in iodine. Why? Because the recommended daily allowances of 200 micrograms is not able to penetrate our toxic environment created by these chemicals. So what can we do about it? Well, it turns out the very best way to address this is to go back to our cellular roots. And we can't do without iodine. So what we're going to have to do to create some molecular solutions is to increase our iodine intake. And the only way you're going to do that is by taking a supplement that is 1,000 times greater. So now we're talking about taking 10 to 30 milligrams of iodine daily in the form of iodide and iodine in 50-50 ratios. It usually works best. So those can be found commercially available over the counter. And so we can provide that. So let's say 10 milligrams every day. We need to work on detoxing our bodies. Well, how are we going to do that at a cellular level? What kind of molecular solution is there for that? The way to do that is to improve the antioxidant efficiencies in our body. So our antioxidants are glutathione, superoxide dismutase, catalase, and several others. We can improve their efficiency by doing two things. One, to convince our cells to make more antioxidants, and we can do that by upregulating transcription factors, by eating a healthy diet and providing molecular resources that tell the cell to start making a little more antioxidants. And those would be stable, balanced redox molecules. They are the little messengers. So supplementing redox molecules can increase the efficiency of our antioxidants. It also gives the antioxidants something to work with. It is a required element in detoxifying free radicals and toxins, like these very toxins that I was mentioning earlier. And so truly, in order to maintain a healthy thyroid gland in this day and age, it is not just by eating fruits and vegetables. It isn't going to get it done. You've literally got to be proactive and take large amounts of iodine in our diet and provide resources to help your body clean itself so that these can be properly absorbed and not displaced. Not to mention the toxic effect on our glands themselves. These glands have a rich blood supply, so they get the job done, circulating these hormones around our body. And that rich blood supply means that if we have toxins and they're traveling through our system, they're going to touch this gland a lot. And these glands that have tremendous blood supply, the adrenal glands, the thyroid gland, pituitary gland, are subject to toxic invasions, even the parathyroid gland. And it's really critical for us to protect them so that they don't develop malignancy, for example, or simply have an oxidative stress experience in the gland itself from the free radicals or the actual toxin. So I hope this has helped you get a feeling for how delicate our health is in these days, how we've got to be proactive, and we've got to pay attention to what's changed. 30 years ago, Synthroid was down in the realm of number 50 or number 60 in terms of frequent monthly prescriptions. It is absolutely number one. And so there's an epidemic of failing thyroids. We've got a problem with a toxic world that's displacing iodine. And we've got molecular solutions if we choose to take action. And I think supplementing our body with redox molecules and supplementing our body with some iodine will go a long way to help restore our molecular balance and our hormonal balance. I hope that's given you some new insights on what you can do for your health.